Doubles and coffee. Well, boy, Express newspaper. After one good editorial where you say Rowley is a pathological liar, you're going back to your normal. Imagine on page 5 of the Express today, the headline reads, "Blows for Kamla and Ali," meaning the president of Guyana. Now, who would the Express be promoting as purportedly sharing blows on the Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and His Excellency the President of Guyana? Who would the Express be equating that they sharing blows on these two Caribbean leaders who have been democratically elected by the people of their nations? Well, ladies and gentlemen, look at the Express, page 5. Blows for Kamla and Ali from the Venezuelan vice president and the minister. First of all, there is no Venezuelan vice president. Delcy Rodriguez and Maduro and the minister and all the cabinet are illegitimate. They did not win an election. They lost an election and they stole an election. The Express newspaper is equating as equivalents of respectability, democracy, mandates and so on, people who stole an election, to those who are duly elected comfortably, properly, efficiently, with votes signed off by independent agencies. Really, Express? You are equating fake leaders, people who stole power, with two leaders in the Caribbean who earned their right to lead their countries properly, democratically, legally, and legitimately. Really, Express? That's why people use your newspaper for toilet paper in latrine. That's why your numbers are down. Don't have people begging for advertisement now. Nobody needs to put advertisement because nobody's reading these things, these pieces of garbage. Let me go now into analyzing, and let me just say, furthermore, Delcy Rodriguez, Maduro and his entire cabinet have been indicted on drug charges, cartel charges, money laundering, terrorism. 8 million Venezuelans, of which at a peak here 3 or 4 years ago, 150 to 200,000 Venezuelans were living in Trinidad and Tobago illegally because they fled from Maduro and Delcy Rodriguez. And some of the cabinet members of Maduro have been indicted, arrested, charged, and convicted in the USA already. And this is the people who the Express is saying that they slam Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Really? So that's like saying Dolce, they slam Ramesh Lawrence Maraj and Banzio Pandey when they arrest him and put him down in Tetron and then hang him and bust his throat after being a drug dealer, a murderer, a cartel runner, a criminal. So Dolce, they slams Ramesh. Is that the way it works, Express? So let's read for you, the people, what this expressions of stupidity and asininity written in your newspaper that they want all you to read. 2 Venezuelan ministers. First of all, there are no Venezuelan ministers because they were not duly elected. They stole the election. Urrutia Gonzalez is the duly elected president of Venezuela. July 28, all of the results show that he was winning 2 out of 3 votes across Venezuela. To those who were there to vote, because the 8 million people who were not there to vote. And out of that 8 million, probably 100% of those who would have voted for the opposition, for Gonzalez and against Maduro, because they have run away from the country because of the oppressive policies of Maduro. So there are no ministers. Kamla Persad-Bissessar is the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago because on April 28, the EBC counted every ballot, every vote in 41 constituencies, And Kamla Persad-Bissessa's UNC won 26 constituencies in Trinidad, and the TPP won in Tobago 2 seats, 28 to 13. Duly elected, certified by an EBC, which is over independent because it leans even PNM. So that is what you call a refreshing, legal, legitimate mandate. So 2 Venezuelan ministers, that in itself is oxymoronic because they are not ministers, have attacked Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessa and Guyana's President Dr. Irfan Ali for their support of the United States deployment of warships to the region. So the criminal saying the good people who support those coming to stop drugs, gun running, cartels, human trafficking in our Gulf of Paria and through our waters, that is creating residual effects of crime, guns, drugs in Trinidad and Tobago, that our Prime Minister, for protecting us, the criminals, slam her, and the Express, a newspaper of Trinidad and Tobago, prints that as if it has some sort of legitimacy. Venezuelan Interior and Justice Minister, if all that don't make you choke on your doubles and coffee, I don't know what will. Justice Minister who lost her election but stand up there with our oppressor to say, hey, we win. And my cousin, who's the head of the Supreme Court, say, we win. No votes counted, no statement of poll, no results, no official, nothing sign up. But we win. I is the Minister of Justice. Well, if that in itself is not a joke and laughable to the Express newspaper, you all are sick. And that's why the majority of the population has turned away from the PNM fake news media. Venezuelan Interior and Justice Minister Diosdado Cabello and Vice Presidente Delcy Rodriguez, well, boy, that is Rowley girl, small pin girl, land during a COVID-19 pandemic where our citizens couldn't come home. We couldn't burn our dead. We couldn't see our sick ones, our elderly. 35,000 people were left out of the country. Nurses were stuck in Barbados for Barbados to take care of them. But small pin and Rowley, let Delcy Rodriguez come to talk with PDVSA officials about dragon gas to sign and seal a secret NDA that paying Maduro, an indicted criminal with a bounty at that time of 25 million US on his head, which has now been increased to 50 million US. Delcy Rodriguez landed here with permission from Rowley and Small Pin, while citizens couldn't come back. She now talking, and the Express is giving her words similar respect, similar efficacy as Kamla Persad-Bissessa and Dr. Irfan Ali. Express, to describe your thing as a rag is being diplomatic. They have also reiterated Venezuela's claim to Guyana's Essequibo region. What's your position, Express newspaper, on the Venezuelan claim of Guyana's territory in the Essequibo that the International Court has said is Guyana's and has ruled, and that Maduro says he doesn't respect the International Court? Since 1898, it has been part of Guyana. What's your position on these bullies, these drug runners, this cartel, these oppressors, these stealers of election, who call themselves ministers and swearing themselves by themselves for themselves, who lock up opposition members and tell them they cannot take part in election, those who have stolen power? Express, what is your opinion? Well, these thieves are now saying they want to steal piece of Guyana. You support that? Because it's a zone of peace? Are those peaceful words that Venezuela is ignoring the rule of law and attacking Guyana and saying, we are coming for peace of your country, we are going to bully you, we are going to take it? Well, Kamla Persad-Bissessa says, don't touch Guyana, because we stand with the United States of America and Guyana against oppressors, against drug cartel, against money launderers, against indicted election stealers, oppressors, and thieves. But Express, you seem to be endorsing. You don't seem to be able to differentiate between legitimate leaders with good character, education, track record, working for the people, and those miscreants who steal elections, Express newspaper, during a news conference, well, let me go back. Let me repeat that, Venezuelan Interior and Justice Minister Dialso Cabello and Vice President Delcy Rodriguez have also reiterated Venezuela's claim to Guyana's Essequibo region. According to Venezuelan media reports, Cabello on Monday described Posad Bicesa's support of the U.S. military presence in the region as shameful. Really, Cabello? You are the bastion of integrity, morality, propriety, and good sense? You who stole our election with Maduro? You who 8 million Venezuelans who love their country have fled the country? You who decimated an economy that has the richest reserves of oil, gas, natural resources in the world? You who stand as part of the most corrupt, illegitimate regime in history? You who oppress people? You who have thwarted independent institutions in Venezuela, thwarted the constitution, stolen an election? You are casting your opinion on who is moral and ethical and what is shameful. What is shameful is you and Maduro and Delcy, you disgusting human beings. You who run Venezuela to the ground, who cannot respect democracy, truth, and fairness. That's shameful. Not Kamla Posad Bicesa and President His Excellency Irfan Ali, but Express newspaper is printing this, supporting this, promoting this kind of evil in Trinidad and Tobago, and some of all your PNM going with this stupidity. Why they didn't ask Rowley how much they pay Maduro? Why they didn't ask Rowley how much millions of fuel came in April 2020 from Wilmer Ruperti, Trafigura PTE, ES Euro Shipping, and went to Palo Alito, Venezuela under sanctions? Why you don't ask Rowley that? Where the money gone? Where the 276,000 extra barrels that came into Paria? Where it went? Is it on the paperwork? Where the money gone? Ask Rowley that. Express continued. Cabello stated, Trinidad and Tobago, those people certainly do not feel proud of their leaders, of who is exercising their power. Those are shameful positions. Cabello, cállate, cabrón. No me interesa en tu propio palabras increíble, estúpido. You understand? We're not interested in your nonsense, Cabello. You're a clown. He continued to attack Kamla Posad Bicesa and Irfan Ali, stating that those Trinidadians and Tobagonians, they don't like Venezuelans. They killed a baby in a boat with Venezuelans. You don't even know differences in regime. The one who was protecting and fighting for the rights of that little baby was Kamla Posad Bicesa as leader of the opposition, and me, the Douglas, as our opposition senator. That little boy, Elvis Saravia, you don't even know his name, Carabello, and it's a citizen of yours, Saravia. That little boy who was killed, Kamla Posad Bicesa attacked and said that our Coast Guard must be held responsible, that it was murder on the high seas, and she was fighting for the human rights of that baby and those migrants. That was Kamla Posad Bicesa's position against Fitzgerald Etelbert, narcolepsy, sleepy, wooden ladder, ride a horse with an 8-year-old boy in his lap, Hines, and the PNM who covered it up. Kamla Posad Bicesa came in under criticism from people like Boti Wari, who was saying that she's bringing down our Coast Guard and so on. Kamla Posad Bicesa was fighting for the rights of that little baby. Now you, Cabello, trying to attack Kamla and say that, obfuscate and say that she was in charge at that time. She was not. It was your friend Rowley. It was your friend Smallpin when the baby's head was blown away. So fire burn Express. Fire burn Venezuela's fake regime. And Kamla Posad Bicesa stands with Guyana and the USA against drug cartels and money launderers. Bless, Express, fire, burn you.